Well, fresh questions have been raised about the investigation into the Slug Gate controversy, which saw family-run business iCook Foods destroyed after a Dandenong council worker allegedly planted a slug on the floor of their processing plant. Now, the slug shut down the business, and with it, multi-million-dollar contracts to supply meals to aged care homes and other facilities. And instead, other competitors, like the Dandenong Council, which had not long before become a shareholder in a rival catering business, stepped in and picked up the old iCook Foods work. The man responsible for signing off all the paperwork that closed the doors on iCook Foods was none other than Victoria's Chief Health Officer, Brett Sutton. If it sounds like a lot more happened here than we were originally told at the time, you bet there is. There's now a parliamentary inquiry into the scandal that's been reopened, as well as a fresh police investigation now underway, and hope of some sort of justice for the Cook family and the dozens of workers who lost their jobs. Paul Brady, former Victoria Police detective, who's been helping the Cook family through this shocking ordeal. He joins me now from Melbourne. Paul, you would have witnessed your fair share of controversial allegations in your work as a police detective. How does this one stack up?
Yes, thanks for having us, Peter, and giving us the opportunity. It really is a disgraceful episode from start to where we are now. We've got a company who employed 41 people, was a great contributor to the community, and they've been corruptly and maliciously shut down, and it is just absolutely disgusting.
I want to go back to the start. When the Victorian Health Department tried to link iCook Foods to a listeria outbreak at a nearby hospital and the death, sadly, of someone there, their own laboratory testing, though, debunked that claim, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, but it goes further than that. 4 hours after iCook Foods was closed down, they sent a health inspector out to Knox Private Hospital, Ray Christie. Now, he conducted an investigation and found that the woman was brought into the hospital. She was already ill. She was placed on a special diet, what they call a soft food diet. And as a result of that, she had no outside food other than what she had from the Knox Private Hospital. In other words, she was placed on a special diet. So what we can show now is that this unfortunate woman did not have any food or eat any food or consume any food from iCook Foods. We can show that. Now, that was on top of DHS withholding the analyst reports. So,
and whistleblowers obviously made that report known.
Yes, yes. Now, that we have been seeking that report under FOI for the last 2 years, and it's only now that we've got it. They've gone uphill and down dale to try and hide that report, and we eventually got it. Now, the health inspector showed a lot of courage. He came forward and said and told Ian Cook about the existence of that report, and we already knew about it, but now we've got it, and it clearly shows that iCook Foods did not serve any food or provide any food to the lady who passed away.
Oh, we'll talk about the allegation after that. We fast forward, we go to this allegation of the slug being planted on the floor of the food factory and this cover-up, the doctored photograph. Walk us through those claims.
Okay. When Elizabeth Garlick first attended the iCook Food premises on the 18th of February 2019, the receptionist at iCook Foods observed some tissues in one of her pockets and found that was a bit unusual, but at that point she didn't know, didn't consider it any further. Garlic then changed into a smog provided by iCook Foods but left the bottom undone. We believe that she did that to access the slug, which we believe was wrapped in a tissue. She's then conducted an inspection, and she's basically walked to the back of the factory where she was in company with Michael Cook. Fortunately, Michael Cook also had a camera, and he was photographing as he was going. And of course, Elizabeth Garlick has crouched down, and we've got it down to 17 seconds. and that's where she threw the slug. And then she took a photo of it and then flippantly said, "Oh, you've got a slug." Michael Cook, who was in shock. Now, he was standing there for the duration of when Garlic planted the slug, and he had a clear vision, and he can categorically say that there was no slug there before Garlic entered that area of the kitchen. So Michael Cook immediately
and
took
then in the pictures there's
and
the pictures where there's a little bit of tissue, that's the allegation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Michael Cook's photo showed clearly the small piece of tissue which was beside the slug, and Garlic and Elizabeth Johnson photoshopped that tissue out of the photo at a later time when they were preparing a brief of evidence against iCook Foods. That photoshopping of the tissue was also observed by another whistleblower, Kim Rogerson, who was also very brave to come forward as well.
I've got to wrap up if I can though. Just quickly, what was the motivation for iCook Foods to be shut down?
The motivation was to get iCook Foods out of the way because they were the only competitor of the government-sponsored Community Chef, who were also food suppliers to the same customers or similar customers to iCook Foods. Now, once they got Ian Cook and his company out of the way, that would then make them an essential service, which would then guarantee them public funding. So they would have had unlimited funding. Bearing in mind, this company had been going since 2009. They've been bankrolled by the federal and state governments to nearly a tune of $30 million, and yet they've lost money every year.
It is extraordinary. This is got a long way to play out, Paul Brady. I don't think this is the last time you're talking to me on Credlin. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.